I'm outside Brighton. Manchester United have just been beaten, well beaten, and I'm with James Scowcroft. James played over 300 top flight games in England for Leicester City and Ipswich Town. He's also a UEFA A licensed coach, and more importantly than that, he's a Manchester United fan who goes to matches. What did you make of that today, James? What went wrong for Manchester United?
It's a basics, Andy. They're letting Manchester United down today. You know, you break football down at any level, it's all about what you do in both penalty boxes. United didn't defend their own box. Crosses coming in, Brighton players getting on the end of it. They didn't get the first touch, they didn't clear their lines, they didn't pick up, they weren't touch tight in the box. And they offered little threat in Brighton's final third and ultimately in the penalty box themselves. I've
just seen Jose Mourinho talking, and he looked very downbeat, and he said there were 3 mistakes and Brighton capitalised on them. Paul Pogba has said that his attitude wasn't right, but the defence was all over the shop. I mean, Eric Bailly had a stinking game, Victor Lindelof had an awful game. I actually think both of them are decent players.
I think they've got potential, but I think both of them are crying out to play alongside an experienced centre-half that talks them through the game. You know, I towards the end of my career, I caught Steve Bruce when he was at Birmingham in his career, and I've never come across a defender who talked his other 3 defenders, the 2 fullbacks and his other centre-back, just talked them through the game.
So you're playing against him?
I'm playing against him, and he just spoke for 90 minutes, just taught every step, and I don't see that with Lindelof, I don't see it with Bailly, I don't see it with Luke Shaw. I don't really see any real vocal players in Man United's team.
What's wrong with Paul Pogba?
It's a good question. I think maybe people are looking at the wrong answer there. I thought Pogba did some good things today. I think Manchester United are relying on him too much. He always wants the ball. He makes mistakes, he gives it away, but he never shies away from the ball. Where, you know, there's 4 or 5 of them out there. I can't honestly remember what they did today.
Who would those 4 or 5 be?
Well, you have to look at the subs. You know, coming on a.
So Jesse and Marcus Rashford came on.
You have to, you know, coming on at 3-0 down, you've got nothing to lose, and you're going to have a lot of the ball. Did they influence the game? Did they? No, they didn't. You know, did they? If you're a Brighton player, do you come off that pitch thinking, God, you know, do I have to run right? No, I don't think you do. I think that's one of the easiest games in the, especially second half, when you're expecting the cavalry to come from Manchester United. It was just non-existent.
There's none left.
There isn't. And
Brighton did well. Glenn Murray was superb. 34 years old, Manchester United fan from Cumbria.
Glenn Murray's a huge Manchester United fan.
Do you know him?
I know him vaguely, but he is a big United fan. And he led the line today, scored an excellent goal, used his intelligence, backed in, won his headers, and that's why, you know, at 34, Brighton really can't go out and find anyone better than him.
So what now for Manchester United? Tottenham next weekend. It's a big game. I said before today it was essential that United won. When I saw Manchester City score 6 before we'd even kicked off, it's just been a terrible day for United.
It has been, and it's a bit of a familiar pattern now, isn't it?
Yeah.
This isn't a one-off. United have got to respond against Tottenham. Have they got it in them? I'm not sure. I think the big players have got to come to the fore now, and you've got to see a real gutsy, determined Man United performance, really. But you've also got to see people that want the ball, that can handle the ball, that you can receive the ball with 2 or 3 players around them and not give the ball away. You know, I see there's too much transition with Manchester United, and that's, you know, just attacks breaking down, and you're letting the opposition off the hook.
And the midfield today in the first half with Fred and Pereira and Pogba, I'd love to see it work. I'd love to see Pereira establish himself in the team, but it was porous.
Well, you know, what you have to do in football, there's 3 things: it's score, create or stop. Those are 3 things of football, and if you can do 2 out of those 3, you're a top player. I'm not sure. I don't want to be critical of any players really, but I'm not sure. Is Fred going to score, create, players stop? He's physically very small. Pereira, very, very similar. You know, if I was in Brighton's midfield today, it wouldn't really bother me. You know, I thought Stevens, you know, had a decent game in midfield today for Brighton. They just physically or technically weren't put under any pressure.
You were in the United end. It emptied way before the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of bitterness. I've seen it a few times now since I've finished playing. I saw it at the end of David Moyes, I saw it in Van Gaal's, and, you know, United get on the top players' backs as well. You know, they're not shy as well, which, you know, any supporters do. So it's on the verge. United, I've seen it at clubs before where, you know, fans do turn against players, they turn against clubs, they turn about manager, and it's awful as a player when that happens.
But it's not a one-off, James. It's the second time in 5 months that United had been here and played dreadfully and lost the game. It's not a one-off.
And it's not just Brighton, is it? You know, there's other games, away games, where they just unlucky, they're not beaten by the odd sort of mistake, you know, they're comfortably beaten, you know, nowhere near it.
What's the weakest position for United at the moment?
Still think both full-backs, even though we had a right and a left-back today. I think if you look at the back four, if they're all put on a transfer market, would you have many takers from other clubs coming to buy them? I'm not sure. I fear for United because it's a lot of surgery that needs doing to the team, you know, and it's very hard to do that in one transfer window and over one season.
So that's it from Brighton. I'm going to jump into there. Brighton, who were very close to being a non-league team, who lost home ground. The first time I came here was in '92 when Danny Wallace scored a brilliant goal and David Beckham made his United debut, and then Brighton had some terrible times, but they've been a fantastic football club to get back to where they are now. The ground holds 31,000, it was full. It's a good city to come to as well, and the day was spoiled by the game because before the match, even though the weather's not been good, there was loads of United fans out and about in Brighton and it was decent, but that game unfortunately is going to be why people remember today, and it wasn't good enough. Things must get better against Tottenham. Do you think they will, James?
I think they will do, but I think it'll take time. I think United are a long way off from where they want to be.